What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Scroll Cup with the newly accessible Brutal Swing Shadow Absol, which unfortunately I had to use an Elite Charge DM to get because Niantic originally announced that after the Mega Raid Day, Brutal Swing would be obtainable via the use of regular Charge DMs, but then later updated the blog post to say, oh actually that was a mistake, you're going to have to use an Elite Charge DM to get it. So yeah, that really sucks, and I'll be honest, I would definitely not recommend you use an Elite TM to get this move, but I love using really glassy Pokemon, and Shadow Absol is the definition of a glass cannon, having an attack stat 16 higher than Morpeko, and of course also being in its shadow form, so dealing an extra 20% damage on top of that. So unfortunately this Pokemon was never really going to be good, but I'd say in this meta it's just really not built for it. Unfortunately the majority of the meta resist the dark typing, so whilst yes having a really spammy, really powerful move is great, it's unfortunately resisted by most things, so it actually didn't really help it out that much. And I did find that actually it was the Thunder that I needed to go for in the majority of matchups, and when it did land, that was very satisfying. But yeah, I tried to use about 4 different teams trying to get the best out of this Pokemon as a closer, but it just didn't work out for me. Like, even if I saved a shield for it, like the fast moves would just absolutely annihilate it, and I'd end up going up against like a Guzzlord or like a Morpeko or something that unfortunately resists both charge moves anyways. So yeah, it didn't really work out for me, but I found in the end that its best position was a safe swap, and I'm using the term safe very loosely there because it was anything but safe. But what it would do is at least grab a shield advantage a lot of times, and also it's very much guaranteed that you will win CMP unless you see like a Sharpedo, which is very unlikely. But anyways, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Would you like to see me use this Pokemon in the Open Great League when it comes back around tomorrow, as I feel like it's going to have a lot more targets with all the buff Psywave users, and of course a lot of the ghost types that got buffed this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Vullaby into Morpeko. So of course, not ideal for me. Gonna say swap into Shadow Absol, and I'm able to outpace them to a Brutal Swing before they can reach an Aura Wheel. Brutal Swing actually grabs a shield from the Morpeko. Morpeko gonna shield pretty much any charge move anyways. They come in with a Mandibuzz, and we're going straight for Thunder. Thunder does huge damage, but unfortunately, because these Psycho Cuts are double resisted, I'm not able to farm them down. And as well, the other option for the fast move on Absol is Snarl, which is also resisted. So even if I was running Snarl there, unfortunately, it would have been the same result, but we can come in with the Vullaby, sponge the damage here from these 2 Aerial Aces, and go for an air/farm down. But the opponent comes back in with Morpeko, trying to snipe with the Aura Wheel. I'm actually going to shield this, preserve the health on my Vullaby, come in with the Crocodile, and then go for a full Mud-Slap farm down. Now, they are boosted. I'm actually going to shield respect the damage here, as the opponent does fire off a Dark Aura Wheel there, but now we can go for the Mud-Slap farm down. Mandibuzz is pretty much KO'd at this point, and they've got Gastrodon in the back, so I'm very much glad that I shielded the Vullaby, preserved the health there, as now we can go for back-to-back crunches. Crunch number 2 should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. It does grab the final shield. The opponent not able to commit to a farm down, instead farming up to back-to-back body slams. First one takes out the Crocodile, but Vullaby very bulky. We can easily take this next charge move and go for a full air/farm down, coming out with back-to-back foul plays or a Brave Bird, and so the opponent just concedes the match there. So, GG's top end there into next battle. See a Gastrodon in the lead, so a great lead matchup for the Vullaby, and the opponent is choosing to stay in. So at this point, they're going to fire off a Body Slam straight away. We've already seen just now, Body Slam doesn't do much damage. They're going to swap into Azumarill, so I'm going to bank a Brave Bird and come in with my Shadow Absol. Now, the thinking here is that Azumarill is a very bulky Pokemon. Surely they're not going to shield from the Shadow Absol, so we are absolutely, pun intended, full send to the Thunder there. Thunder gets the one shot. We take out Azumarill. They come back in with the Gastrodon, and we're already at a Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing grabs a shield from the opponent. They can go for the Mud-Slap farm down there, but that's absolutely okay there. We can see the opponent's going to come in with a Mandibuzz, and now this is where things get a little bit tricky for us because we've only got Crocodile in the back. So we full send the Brave Bird. It goes unshielded. We swap into Crocodile, of course. Mud-Slaps are double resisted, so definitely not ideal, but they go for an Aerial Ace, not doing too much damage there. We can fire off a Brick Break. Brick Break also not going to do much damage, but it actually grabs a shield. We also debuff the defense there, of course. At this point, I'm actually going to shield this, expecting the opponent to come back in with the Gastrodon, but that's okay. We can go straight for Crunch here. Crunch is going to get the KO there. We swap straight away back into our Vullaby, and we can go straight for the Brave Bird. And of course, Brave Bird gets the KO up against the Mandibuzz, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there into next battle, see a Shadow Swampert in the lead. So I'm actually going to stay in this matchup initially, wait for the opponent to throw a charge move, and then swap into my Shadow Absol. They go for a sludge there. We're going to swap into the Absol, but unfortunately they did overfarm by one mud shot, so they're able to just barely outpace us to that first charge move. We're going to hold onto the energy, and the opponent swaps into a Mantine. We're going straight for Thunder. Thunder gets the one shot there. That's a massive overkill up against a Mantine. Unfortunately, they can just razorly farm me down with a shiny Shadow Shiftry, but now we can come in with our Lullaby, go straight for Foul Play, grab a shield there, and at this point I'm thinking, these Razor Leafs, they are adding up. I'm actually going to shield this, just play it safe. They go for Leaf Blade there. I should be able to commit to a full farm down, so the opponent swaps back into their Swampert. We go straight for Foul Play here. Foul Play, gonna be no shielded, and we can come in with the Crocodile, get the Mud Slap Snipe, and they're in range where we can Mud Slap, farm down the Shiftry, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle, see a shiny Shadow Drapion in the lead. So, very cool flex on the opponent's end. We are going to stay in this matchup initially, assuming they're probably not on Sludge Bomb. So, I'm going to no-shield the first charge move. The opponent goes for an Aquatel there. They can't actually reach another Aquatel before I even make it to a Brave Bird. So, Aquatel number 2 gets us fairly low. We're going to go for the Brave Bird, and the opponent actually swaps, makes the catch onto a Guzzlord. So, we're going to have to come in with the Crocodile here. So, of course, we have debuffed our defense by 3 stages, and we definitely can't come in with the Absol, but unfortunately Crocodile is also our best response to that Shadow Drapion. They now come in with a Mantine, and things aren't really looking too good for us here. We're going to go fire off the Crunch. Crunch, going to be no shielded. It doesn't get the debuff there, and I actually overfarm. I tried to throw on good timing, but I should have just thrown straight away, because now I just don't get off the Crunch at all. We're going to come in with the Shadow Absol. I'm going to throw on the CMP tie here, and Brutal Swing is going to be grabbing a shield from the opponent, the first shield from the opponent. If I'd have gone for the Crunch there, of course, with my Crocodile, this could be the final shield going down, and now, of course, Shadow Absol, I overfarm as much as I can, but I don't want to throw on CMP this time around. We go for Brutal Swing, the opponent actually no shields that. We swap out into our Lullaby, but we're not able to reach a charge move. They commit to a full farm down, and of course they come out with a charge move loaded. Crunch easily takes out the Shadow Absol, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into the next battle, Core Breaker to this team, but we're going to swap into our Shadow Absol, and then we're met with a Chestnut. So I'm going straight for Brutal Swing. I throw on the CMP tie once again, and Brutal Swing is going to grab a shield. We could be running like Mega Horn, so that makes sense to shield that. They go for the Frenzy Plant, and at this point I'm happy to let the Absol go down. We grab the shield advantage. We can come in with the Lullaby, go for a full air/farm down, and come out with pretty much a Brave Bird loaded. So the opponent debuffs their defense, which means we're actually 1 away from the Brave Bird, but that's okay. We're going to throw it straight away into the Shadow Wolverine coming back in. Brave Bird does huge damage. We swap out immediately. The opponent swaps into Morpeko, and that's absolutely game over. And so we're able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle. We see a Mandibuzz in the lead, so we are going to stay in this matchup here. I'm trying to overfarm as much as possible, wait for the opponent to throw a charge move, but in the end, I'm kind of forced to throw here, otherwise I'd go over 100 energy, and the opponent also does the exact same thing, so they wait for me to triple debuff my defense, which means even though Lullaby is easily the tankiest Pokemon on this team, I'm kind of forced to use my shield there, which is really unfortunate. Very smart heads-up play on the opponent's end, though, knowing that I would overfarm there. We're now going to come in with the Crocodile, go for the Brick Break, debuff in their defense. I'm going to no-shield this. Icy Wind will be taking us out, but I can come in with my Shadow Absol. I believe they threw straight away, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and throw on the CMP tie with this Dugong, and Brutal Swing will definitely get the KO here. So Brutal Swing going to be no-shielded by the opponent. If they come back in with the Mandibuzz, I assume they're not going to throw it immediately, so what we're going to do is go for one Psycho Cut, swap, make the catch onto my Lullaby, as the opponent does fire off the charge move. Aerial Ace not doing too much damage there. We're now going to overfarm, and the opponent makes a really nice catch there, catching the Brave Bird onto Gastrodon. It does big damage, but unfortunately, now that we've debuffed our defense here, I can no longer just commit to like a full air/farm down. Instead, firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play gets the KO, but I'm not able to reach another charge move, and that will be game over, unfortunately. So I'm going to go use my final shield here. I'm hoping that I can just reach a Thunder, and the opponent tries to use a shield flex or something, but nope, the opponent actually reaches back-to-back Aerial Aces, taking out the Shadow Absol, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's top in there into next battle, going up against the smallest Mantine I've ever seen. We are going to stay in this matchup initially. Of course, I'm expecting the opponent probably going to be on Ice Beam here, so I'm going to shield the Charge Beam. The opponent does go for the Ice Beam, and now we're going to swap into Shadow Absol, baiting out a Shadow Annihilate, as I realize this is probably going to be Annihilate and Gastrodon in the back. We actually connect with the Brutal Swing. They're one away from a charge move, which is actually okay with me, because if they don't get damage registration error, I'm able to get the Mudslap farm down before they can throw a charge move, and even if they did reach it, it would have been a resisted Rage Fist anyways. They come in with the Gastrodon, realizing, of course, it's going to be pretty useless up against my Vullaby. We go straight for Crunch there. Crunch is going to be shielded by the opponent, and at this point, I'm going to no-shield the Body Slam, swap straight away into Vullaby. The opponent comes back in with the Mantine, and we're now at back-to-back foul plays. First foul play, gonna be no shielded. It really doesn't do much damage, but we can fire off a second foul play after one more air slash. Foul play is gonna be shielded this time around, and at this point, unless the opponent has back-to-back charge moves, I should be fine here. We're going to shoot up the aerial ace, go straight for foul play number 3, and from this range, foul play will be taking out the Mantine, and at this point, we're just going to stay in with the Vullaby. Of course, Body Slam we've seen already, doesn't do much damage, and we should be able to make it to a Brave Bird just before they reach the next Body Slam, and Brave Bird, a very hard-hitting move. Even from a bulky Pokemon, it takes out the Gastrodon, and we're able to take that game. So, GG's up in there. Into next battle, we see a Galarian Moltres in the lead. So this should be a good matchup for us, since we are hitting for neutral damage, whilst they're hitting for resisted damage. But of course, Ancient Power going to be super effective. They actually full send a Brave Bird, which does more damage in that situation. And unfortunately, it does get us very low. So at this point, we go for the Brave Bird, grab a shield from the Quagsire, and we can at least reach a Brutal Swing, winning CMP here. And honestly, at this point, I probably should have just let the Absol go down, because they will outpace me to 2 charge moves here. But I'm just desperate for Absol to do something in these battles, so I'm going to double shield my Absol and see what we can do here. The opponent goes for a Mud Bomb. I'm going to overfarm here, fire off the charge move just before they reach the next move here. And of course, Brutal Swing gets the KO. The opponent going to come back in with their Moltres, and we're going straight for Thunder. Please, opponent, just let this move go through. The opponent shields it up, and we're going to swap into Vullaby, and we're not able to reach the Brave Bird there, and that's going to be game over. Of course, they've got a Brave Bird loaded. All they have to do is throw it into Crocodile, and this will very comfortably one-shot the Crocodile. We come back in with the Absol, they can farm me down, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's top in there, into next battle, another Gastrodon in the lead. So again, great lead for us. We're going to stay in this matchup here, and the opponent is going to overfarm here, then swapping into Toxapex. So we're going to come in with our Crocodile. Now, of course, we're resisting the Poison Jab damage. Going to take super effective from a Brine. I should live a Brine there, but I'm actually not going to bother taking any risk. We're going to go straight for Crunch. Crunch is going to be no-shielded by the opponent, and it puts them into Mudslap farm down range. The opponent comes back in with the Gastrodon. We go for one Mudslap, fire off the Crunch here. Crunch is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. It drops their defense as well, which is very nice. At this point, gonna let the Crocodile go down here. Body Slam actually doesn't take us out, but they snipe with a Sableye. We're gonna come in with our Shadow Absol, and I will be able to overfarm, throw Brutal Swing on the CMP tie here, and Brutal Swing is going to be shielded by the Sableye. And at this point, I'm thinking, they actually might bait me, so I'm going to no-shield, and it is just a foul play. I'm able to reach another Brutal Swing up against the Sableye here, and then I can swap into my Vullaby, of course. We've already got a Brave Bird loaded, but I don't want to debuff my defense just yet. So what we're going to do, overfarm, use my shield here, wait for the opponent to inevitably swap back into the Gastrodon. They do exactly that. They've got the charge move loaded. Body Slam doesn't do much damage, but actually the Air Slash takes them out there. They come back in with the Sableye, but it's just a foul play there. Not a Dazzling Gleam, in which case we can go full send the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird easily takes out the Sableye there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top in there, into next battle, we see a Chestnut in the lead, so a great lead matchup for us. The opponent save swaps into a Shadow Gyarados though, and I do not have a response at all. So at this point, I'm forced to stay in with the Vullaby. Gonna shield the first Aqua Tail here, because I realize if I no shield that, honestly, they probably can just Dragon Breath farm me down. So we're gonna go for the foul play. Foul play, gonna be shielded by the opponent, and they can reach another charge move just before we get to foul play number 2. At this point, kind of have to no shield. We're gonna go for that foul play, and if they double shield, I'm gonna swap into my Absol, straight away, and I will be able to make it to another charge move, but they come back in with the chestnut. So at this point, we are dealing super effective Psycho Cut damage, so these brutal swings, they are going to add up here, and it will force the opponent to throw a charge move, rather than just going for a full farm down. So at this point, the opponent does fire off the move. They're not going to reach back-to-back moves either, so Frenzy Plant gets the KO. We can come in with the Crocodile and go for a Mud Slap farm down. But of course, Shadow Gyarados still very healthy. I will not be able to Mud Slap farm them down. So the opponent comes back in with the Gyarados. We're going to swap, catch the charge move onto my Vullaby, but still I cannot go for that Mud Slap farm down. So we're now going to overfarm by one Mud Slap, go for the Brick Break here. Brick Break gonna be, of course, taking out the Gyarados, but they've got Pelipper in the back. And unfortunately, I'm not going to reach back-to-back charge moves. We go for Crunch here, but Crunch, nowhere near enough damage to take out the Pelipper. They can just commit to a full wing attack farm down, taking out the Crocodile, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG so far in there, into next battle, see Annihilate in the lead, gonna be safe swapping into Drapion, so I'm gonna respond with the Crocodile. I'm gonna no-shield the first Arquitel, and that actually does more damage than I was expecting, but we can go straight for Brick Break here. Brick Break is going to be no-shielded by the opponent, and we're able to Mud Slap farm them down. At this point, I am going to see the opponent's going to come in with a Shadow Swampert, and we're able to reach a last-second Brick Break, which is really nice. Brick Break, not going to do much damage there, but this is kind of game over at this point. We can come in with the Shadow Absol. I can just safely shield up whatever they throw. They go for the Hydro Cannon, of course. They come back in with their Annihilate, and we can go straight for a Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing, going to be shielded by the Annihilate. We can come back in with our Vullaby, and I'm just going to no-shield the first charge move. They could be on Ice Punch there or Close Combat, but they're going to go for the Rage Fist, boosting up their attack, and this is just another Rage Fist, so that's fine with me. I can still no-shield this. I can farm up to back-to-back Foul Plays, and Foul Play from this range is going to be enough damage to get the KO there. They actually let that go. They come back in with the Shadow Swampert. We can go for another Foul Play here, and at this point, I'm going to swap back into the Absol, as this is an Absol showcase. I want to make sure I can get enough KOs with that Shadow Absol, so what we're going to do, shield up the charge move, go straight for Brutal Swing, and of course, from this range, Brutal Swing gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there, into the next battle, we see a Pelipper in the lead, so this is definitely where we want to see it for this team. Of course, Crocodile really going to struggle, and Absol, I mean, we've got Thunder for coverage, but we're never going to reach a Thunder up against a Pelipper, but either way, we're going to go for the Foul Play straight away here. Foul Play is going to be shielded by the opponent, and they fire off a charge move immediately. So at this point, I'm actually going to swap into my Shadow Absol here. Unfortunately, we do get a one-turn swap, but they come in with a Lucario and like 3 Force Palms, and we're already dead. Brutal Swing, resisted damage, does over half their HP, which is crazy, but still not really ideal. We're going to come in with the Crocodile and just barely not able to get that Mud Slap farm down before they do reach a charge move. They go for Blaze Kick there, which of course isn't going to do too much damage, but they've got a Razor Leaf Ludicolo. Oh my god, I can't even talk at this point. They've got a Ludicolo in the back, and it's game over. So I'm gonna stop talking for now. We'll wait till the battle finishes, and then I will resume with the next one. As yeah, they just farm me down. We're going to no-shield. There's nothing we can do here. So, of course, Weather Ball will be taking out the Crocodile. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. Right, anyways, into the next battle. GG's to that opponent, by the way. We see another Morpeko in the lead. So, going to say swap into our Shadow Absol, and we're going to go for the Brutal Swing straight away once again. So, Brutal Swing, of course, is going to be shielded by the opponent, and they're going to fire off a charge move of their own. So, I'm going to shield this up here. So, they go for an Aura Wheel, expecting the opponent to swap out eventually, and they come in with a Chestnut. So, at this point, I'm going to go and fire off the Brutal Swing. We've already seen that Brutal Swing doesn't do too much damage, but these Psycho Cuts are kind of chunking, and this next Brutal Swing will probably grab a shield from the opponent, and it does exactly that. The opponent does go for a huge farm down, but even if they've got Thunder Punch for coverage, we can come in with the Vullaby and go for 2 more Air Slashes to get that farm down. So at this point, gonna no shield once again. Thunder Punch is super effective, but we do get that farm down. Now here, we're going to come in with our Crocodile, and they've got Toxapex in the back, so they are core broken by the Crocodile. All we have to do here is correctly shield up the Brine, go straight for a Crunch. Well, actually, I'm going to overfarm here just in case the opponent tries to make a catch there, but they don't. We go for the Crunch. Crunch gets the KO from that range. We can now go for a Brick Break, and of course, Brick Break going to hit for super effective damage. It's non-stab, but it does huge damage. It debuffs their defense. One more Mud Slap, take out the Morpeko, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there into the next battle. We see a Shadow Quagsire in the lead. This is a bit of an issue for the team because they will outpace me to a Stone Edge, or at least a potential Stone Edge here. I'm going to no shield. It is the Stone Edge, so we swap into our Shadow Absol, and I'm just hoping that a Brutal Swing will be enough damage to get the KO here. Brutal Swing doesn't quite take them out there. That is agonizingly close, but now I'm forced to shield my Absol as they go for a Mud Bomb there. We're going to go for the Psycho Cut farm down. They come in with an Annihilate, and I can just barely reach another Brutal Swing, and Brutal Swing is at least going to be shielded by that Shadow Annihilate, but unfortunately not looking too good for us. So we're going to come in with the Crocodile, but the opponent actually swaps out into Morpeko. I don't have a clue why they did that, but now we can just go for a full Mud Slap farm down. They do go for a Psychic Fangs there to debuff my defense, but actually I'm going to swap into my Lullaby. That way I can guarantee reaching a Brave Bird, and Brave Bird of course should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, but this is a Shadow Annihilate, so a Mud Slap and a Crunch is probably going to be enough damage to get the KO, and even if it isn't, I should be able to live a few more counters here. But either way, we go for the Mud Slap, we go for the Crunch. Crunch does get the KO up against the Shadow Annihilate, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there into the next battle. We see another Morpeko in the lead. So once again, say swapping into the Shadow Absol, and again outpacing them to that charge move. Of course, they could go for a Psychic Fangs there, but I would just no shield. We go for the Brutal Swing, grab a shield there from the opponent, and again they come in with a Mandibuzz. So at this point, I actually throw a Thunder on the CMP tie. Thunder is going to be no shielded once again, and at this point we can actually live 2 more air slashes, or at least I believe I can. So I'm going to shield, go for a Brutal Swing, and this way I can get all shields down on the opponent's end. So Brutal Swing is going to be shielded by the Mandibuzz. We can come in with the Lullaby, and at this point we are going to no shield the charge move. We do have to remember that Morpeko did leave with an Aura Wheel loaded, so what we're going to do is swap out immediately here, expecting them to throw straight away. But the opponent actually does what I just did there. They come in with a different Pokemon, and I swap out immediately, and if I just stayed in, I could have won that game comfortably, but unfortunately, I didn't do that, and as a result, we're stuck with our Crocodile up against Gastrodon. I know shit because they would reach 2 Body Slams, but unfortunately, it's going to be game over at this point. We can go and shield up the charge move. Of course, I will be able to reach a Brave Bird here, but I do need to overfarm as well. And unfortunately, because I overfarmed too much, they're able to reach another charge move. And even though it's resisted, they're boosted. Aura Will takes us out there. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG top over there into the final battle of this video. Very strange start there, but we're going to swap into our Shadow Absol straight away and go straight for a Thunder here. The opponent staying in. Thunder does huge damage, but unfortunately Toxapex so bulky, they're actually able to tank that. They go for the Brine there, and they're going to swap out into a Shadow Shiftry. So we go straight for the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing actually going to grab a shield from the opponent. We could be running Mega Horn, which would easily one-shot them, but of course, we had nowhere near enough energy for that anyways. But either way, going to come in with a Lullaby. They go for a Leaf Tornado, and they don't get the debuff, which is really nice. We can go for a full Air Slash farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent comes back in with the Toxapex. We're going to come in with our Crocodile. They've got a Guzzlord in the back, and they're just going to concede the match there. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.